Welcome to the REMAX Thailand podcast. Today we will talk about exclusive listings in Thailand. Let's start.
Like trying to make sense of real estate stuff, especially the paperwork, just leaves your head spinning.
Oh, absolutely. It can be pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone there. So today, we're going to zero in, do a real deep dive into something fundamental if you're planning to sell your property, the listing agreement.
Specifically, we want to unpack the differences, the real nuances between exclusive and open listing agreements.
Exactly. And we've gathered some good material for this article, looking at pros and cons, a guide that really breaks down a standard agreement, even some Q&A.
Right. We've pulled from quite a few sources explaining these concepts, like guides to listing agreements, articles comparing exclusive versus open, REMAX materials explaining their approach, Q&As, and discussions on potential pitfalls.
So our mission today, pretty simple, really. We want to give you a clear understanding so you walk away feeling, confident, ready to make smart choices when it's your turn to sell.
Okay, let's jump in, maybe start with the big picture. What are the main types of listing agreements we usually see?
Good idea. The sources generally talk about three main ones, right?
That's right. You've got the exclusive right to sell, then there's the exclusive agency agreement, and finally, the open listing.
And the key difference really boils down to agent exclusivity and how the commission gets handled.
Precisely. Let's define them quickly. Exclusive right to sell, this is probably the most common one you hear about. Basically, you give one brokerage the sole right to sell your property for a set period.
And the commission part.
The brokerage gets paid the commission if the property sells during that period, regardless of who actually finds the buyer, even if you, the owner, find the buyer yourself.
Okay. So key point for you listening. Maximum agent commitment, but you're paying that commission no matter what. Got it. What about exclusive agency? Sounds similar.
It is similar. You're still working with just one brokerage. But there's a twist. If you, the owner, find the buyer completely on your own without the agent's help, you typically don't owe the commission.
Ah, okay. So a bit of an incentive for the seller to network too. Key takeaway then. Maybe save on commission if you find the buyer, but perhaps the agent isn't quite as motivated as with the right to sell.
That's the potential trade-off, yeah. It might appeal to someone, maybe, who has a strong personal network they think they can leverage.
Right, or wants that agent support, but still hopes to find a buyer directly. Okay, and the third one, open listing. That sounds like, well, open season.
It kind of is. With an open listing, you can hire multiple brokerages simultaneously. And you can still sell it yourself, too.
So who gets paid?
Only the brokerage that actually brings the successful buyer, the one who procures the offer that gets accepted. If you sell it yourself, nobody gets a commission.
Okay. Maximum flexibility, potentially no commission cost if you handle it, but maybe less focus from any single agent.
That's generally the concern, yes. Each agent knows they're competing, so they might not invest as much time or resources.
All right, that lays out the options clearly, but it feels like our sources, especially some of the REMAX materials, really lean towards one type.
They definitely do. The exclusive right to sell gets a lot of focus. So, given that, it probably makes sense to really dig into why that is. What are the upsides?
Okay, let's do it. What makes the exclusive right to sell the preferred option for many agents and potentially sellers? What are the real benefits for you?
Well, a huge one that comes up again and again is dedicated representation. You sign that agreement, and you've essentially got one agent, one team, fully focused on your goals.
With having your own champion for the sale.
Exactly. It builds a stronger partnership.
Yeah.
Based on trust and commitment. That agent knows they're the one responsible, so they're generally more invested.
Which logically leads to better marketing, I'd assume.
Absolutely. Focused marketing is a key benefit. Instead of maybe fragmented efforts from multiple agents on an open listing, here you get a coordinated, well-funded strategy tailored to your specific property.
What does that look like practically?
Think high-quality professional photography, maybe videos, targeted online advertising, leveraging the brokerages network like the REMAX network mentioned in the sources, getting it seen by the right people.
You emphasized right people there, meaning qualified buyers?
Precisely. Agents with an exclusive listing have a real incentive to pre-qualify buyers. Saves you, the seller, a ton of time and hassle. No endless showings to people who can't actually afford the place.
Oh, that's a huge plus. And communication must be easier too.
Definitely. Streamlined communication. One point of contact. You're not juggling calls and updates from 3 different agents who might not even be talking to each other.
Yeah, that sounds much less stressful, especially during negotiations.
Right. Your agent acts as your dedicated negotiator, working to get you the best price and terms. Plus, there's clearer agent accountability. Their success, their commission, is directly tied to getting your property sold. Their reputation is on the line.
So they're motivated. And does that translate to better overall service?
Generally, yes. Sources mention things like comprehensive support, regular updates on how things are going, feedback from showings, even help after the sale. And they're more invested in making sure the property shows well, advising on staging, presentation.
Property preparation, right. Getting it ready to impress buyers.
Exactly. They have a vested interest in presenting it in the best possible light.
Okay, the case for exclusive is pretty strong, but we need to look at the other side too. What about the potential problems with open listings? The sources seemed quite cautionary there.
They were, yeah. Several potential pitfalls come up. A big one is a potential conflict of interest.
How so?
Well, in an open listing, each agent's primary goal is just to be the one who makes the sale to get the commission. That might not always align with your goal of getting the absolute highest price.
Ah, so they might push for a quick deal rather than the best deal?
Potentially, yes. Or prioritize buyers they're already working with, even if that buyer isn't offering top dollar for your place. It's about securing their payday.
That doesn't feel like the agent is truly on your side. What else?
Limited buyer pool's another concern. Agents might be hesitant to cooperate with other agents co-broking because they'd have to split the commission.
So they might try to keep the listing sort of quiet, not share it widely.
Exactly. They might not put it on all the shared listing platforms, reducing its overall exposure, hoping they find the buyer directly and keep the whole commission, which obviously isn't great for you as the seller.
Yeah, that totally defeats the supposed benefit of having more agents working for you.
Right. You also risk agents representing the buyer's interests more strongly than yours. More pressure tactics, maybe. Yeah. Pushing you to accept offers quickly before another agent finds a buyer.
Sounds stressful. And probably leads to lower offers being accepted.
It certainly can. Plus, you often get more unqualified buyers traipsing through your house, wasting your time. The market can get cluttered with open listings, making yours harder to spot.
And constant pressure to lower the price just to get some action.
That's a real risk. And in worst-case scenarios, some sources mention unethical agents might even downplay property defects to push a sale through quickly. Less accountability overall.
Wow. Okay. Lack of dedicated service after the sale, inconsistent marketing efforts. It's quite a list.
It is. Limited accountability. Who do you hold responsible if things go wrong? And even buyer skepticism. Savvy buyers might wonder why a property needs so many agents and assume something's wrong, leading to lower offers.
Okay, point taken. Open listings have some serious potential downsides to consider. So let's circle back to the exclusive agreement. Assuming someone goes that route, what specific parts of that contract should they really understand?
Absolutely crucial to read and understand the agreement itself. Let's break down some key clauses using the guides and the REMAX samples of reference. First up, the parties clause. Seems basic, but
It needs to be totally accurate, right? Who the owner is, the brokerage, the agent, the exact property description.
precisely. Get that wrong, and you could have legal issues later. Then there's usually a definitions clause.
Defining all the key terms used, like buyer, commission, sale price.
Exactly. Everyone needs to be on the same page about what these mean in this context. For instance, buyer usually means someone ready, willing, and able to complete the purchase financially. Clarity prevents disputes.
Makes sense. What about the owner's responsibilities?
That often falls under a clause like owner warrants. This is where you, the owner, confirm you have the legal authority to sell, that the info you give the agent is accurate, and you disclose any known major defects.
Things that could kill a deal later if they pop up unexpectedly.
Right. You also usually agree to indemnify the broker if you misrepresented something and allow access for inspections. It's about transparency.
Okay. And what does the owner grant the broker the right to do?
That's in the granting rights to the broker clause, usually clause 2. This outlines the marketing activities. Advertising online, print ads, putting up that for sale sign.
Which apparently still works surprisingly well.
Apparently so. Also covers open houses, social media, brochures, virtual tours. And importantly, it usually includes the broker's promise to use their best efforts to sell the property.
Best efforts, a bit vague, but sets an expectation.
It does. Then a really core part is Clause 4, the exclusive right to sell period. This sets the time frame for the exclusivity.
And confirms the commission is due even if the owner finds the buyer during that time.
That's the crux of it, yes. It's that commitment that allows the broker to confidently invest their resources in marketing your property properly. It protects their investment of time and money.
Got it. What about the commission details?
Clause 6 often details the commission obligation when it's earned, typically upon finding a ready, willing, and able buyer. It might also say you can't just reject a full-price offer without still owing commission.
And Clause 7 specifies the actual amount.
Usually, yes. The commission on sale clause sets the percentage or fee. Sometimes you see tiered rates, maybe higher commission for a faster sale within, say, 90 days or minimum amounts.
Okay, and how it gets paid.
That's often in Clause 8. The owner further agrees. Covers things like payment at closing, how deposits are handled, what happens if the buyer forfeits their deposit, maybe penalties for late payment, lots of financial specifics.
Very important details. Anything else crucial?
Definitely look for Clause 9, the entire agreement clause. This usually states the written contract is a whole agreement. Any changes need to be in writing and signed by both parties.
So, no relying on verbal promises. Get it in writing.
Always. And Clause 10 on signatures and counterparts just covers the legal execution, witnessing, and whether electronic signatures are okay.
Phew. Okay, that's a lot packed into one agreement. Understanding those parts seems vital.
It really is. It empowers you to know exactly what you're agreeing to.
Now, even understanding all that, some sellers might still hesitate about signing an exclusive. We saw some sources mention common objections. How are those usually handled?
Good point. A common one is fear of limited exposure. Thinking fewer agents means fewer buyers see it.
Right, the more is better idea.
Yeah. But the counter is that focused, high-quality marketing from one dedicated agent with a strong network, like REMAX, often reaches more qualified buyers than scattered efforts from many. Quality over quantity.
Makes sense. What about feeling locked into the contract?
That's understandable. It helps to frame it as a mutual commitment. The agent is also locked into focusing on your property. Good communication and regular updates from the agent are key here to build trust.
Transparency is crucial. What if the seller thinks, hey, I might find the buyer myself? Why pay commission then?
This is where the agent needs to demonstrate their full value, not just finding a buyer, but the marketing reach, screening buyers, expert negotiation, managing the complex closing process. Their expertise often leads to a higher net price for the seller, even after commission.
So focusing on the overall value, not just the commission fee itself.
Exactly. Then there's the worry the agent won't work hard once they have the exclusive.
How do you counter that?
By pointing to the agent's track record, the brokerage's reputation, and providing a clear, detailed marketing plan with agreed-upon reporting. Show them how you'll work hard.
What about commission rates being higher?
Focus on value versus price. A slightly higher commission might secure an agent who gets you a significantly better final sale price or a smoother transaction. It's about the return on that investment.
Not just the upfront cost. Any other common ones?
Sometimes sellers want to test the market with a really high price using an open listing. Agents need to explain the risks of overpricing, how it can make a property stale. Using market data for strategic pricing is better.
And the friend or family agent objection?
That's delicate. You gently emphasize the importance of proven expertise in that specific market, professional objectivity, and a clear fiduciary duty, which might be complicated in personal relationships.
And finally, just general confusion about the terms.
That just requires patience. Sit down, go through every clause, explain it clearly, build that understanding and trust. It's all about clear communication.
It really sounds like building trust and clearly showing the benefits are key to overcoming those hesitations.
Absolutely. And remember, this exclusive agreement creates a formal principal and agent relationship, especially highlighted with brokerages like REMAX.
Right. What does that mean legally and ethically? What are the duties?
Okay, so the owner is the principal. You grant the agent authority. Your obligations are generally to cooperate, consider offers seriously, provide accurate info, allow showings, and pay the commission if earned as agreed. But crucially, you always make the final decision on accepting an offer.
So the owner retains ultimate control and the agent's duties.
The agent owes you, the principal, a fiduciary duty. This is huge. It means they legally and ethically must act in your absolute best interest.
Like what specifically?
Loyalty, putting your interests first. Obedience, following your lawful instructions. Disclosure, telling you anything relevant. Confidentiality, protecting your private info. Accounting, handling funds properly. And reasonable care skills, using their expertise diligently. They are your dedicated representative.
That fiduciary duty sounds like the cornerstone of the trust needed for an exclusive agreement. It really emphasizes that focused effort and clear accountability.
Exactly. Sole agency, dedicated effort, clear responsibility. It all works together to incentivize the agent to get the best result for you.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. It seems pretty clear that while an exclusive listing demands commitment, it usually offers a much more strategic path for sellers. You get that dedicated representation, focused marketing. It aligns everyone's interests better.
And hopefully, for you listening, this deep dive has demystified these agreements. Our goal was to give you that clarity and confidence for when you're making these decisions yourself.
So as a final thought, really consider your own situation, your goals for selling, which type of agreement truly feels like the best fit for you. Maybe even check out some successful exclusive listings in your own neighborhood.
And perhaps take a closer look at the standard agreement clauses used in your area. Knowledge is definitely power here.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive today.
Thank you for listening to our deep dive into exclusive listings on the REMAX Thailand podcast. We hope you gained valuable knowledge today. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episodes.